Bull rider.
I used to work for a lawyer that would go, like for deposition, he would go through the room beforehand and drop all the chairs except his. So it was like a power play that he would only see much.
I had a boss like that once. Go in and see him, what's going on down low.
Anytime, Alden.
All right.
Thank you. We'll call the meeting back to order. We do have a quorum this evening, all 5 selectmen here. Can we please rise for Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any amendments to the agenda other than what's in bold?
Me.
Okay, nothing for me. Anybody else? All right, I'm going to skip public comment and consent agenda so we can go right to the Lincolnville Communications presentation.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So maybe I'll just start out by introducing myself. I'm Rick Manning from Lincolnville Communications. This is my brother Randall. And so Lincolnville Communications is an ILEC, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with what an ILEC stands for. It stands for Incumbent Local Exchange Carrier, so it's essentially the old legacy telephone companies. And so we started, you can do the first slide if you want, Randall. Okay. We started, and I want to make sure I'm delivering the right content here, but essentially we're just providing an overview of our company, what we're doing now, kind of what our strategy is and where we're kind of headed along the mid-coast. Does that kind of align with the expectations here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have.
So Lincolnville's been around a long time. It was, 1904, just a small telephone exchange. And it was a number of farmers that put together a small telephone company when they couldn't get connected to the larger Ma Bell. And so they did that, and Shirley Manning, we're kind of a family-owned and operated company. She was the general manager of Lincolnville for a long time, and eventually she ended up purchasing the company. But at the time, it was just a small, a couple thousand customer company. And that was a legacy, and it was one that's regulated by the Public Utilities Commission. In the 90s, she actually bought another through an acquisition in New England of all the GTE properties. She bought another ILEC, and you can see the territory that she bought, and that's where our corporate headquarters is now. And that's the Damascotta, Bremen, Union, that whole area there, kind of a little further south than Lincolnville and a little north of here. And so that's what the company started out as incumbent local exchange carriers that was fully regulated. And then in the 90s, she kind of established an internet service provider, and also for Lincolnville, there was not a cable TV company that provided service there, so she actually put in a head end. So we're a company that has telephone service, a very large internet capacity now, but also very large internet capacity telephone, but also cable TV. Go ahead and flip to the next one if you want, Randall. It's not going.
Yeah, there you go. I got
So the company's grown now to become what's called, or at least a piece of it, it's called a CLEC. And a CLEC is a competitive local exchange carrier, and that's essentially a company that can do business all over the state or out of state or out of country, and it's not regulated. And that started when she ran a big fiber project for MBNA up in Belfast, and using Sonnet technology, actually connected a loop between Bangor, Portland, and created a point of presence with AT&T along the mid-coast, which was unique at the time, one of the kind in that area. And so that really started the fiber build-out back in the late 90s. So, just a little less than 10 years ago, she actually purchased the company. And so now she owns it, and as I said earlier, we're a family-owned and operated company. Randall and I, between us, look after engineering operations, and we're also doing business development now. And our strategy really, over time, we had fiber that we provide. We built a big fiber network, and we'll go over that with you. But we provided fiber to large enterprise-type customers, other carriers, that sort of thing. We never really had a vision that someday we'd be doing fiber to the prem in a lot of the communities, and that's where we're headed now, and we'll share that with you as we go along through the rest of the presentation as well. Connect Maine, this year we've got our 11th Connect Maine grant, and I'm not sure if all the folks here are familiar with that, but what we do, there's a state fund that a lot of different ways it collects revenue, but the whole state contributes to it. And for areas that are rural and are underserved, they work with carriers like us to match funds. And so they'll do like a 50% match on a project. We'll match the other 50%. That makes it economically viable for our company. Allows us to make a business case. We'll actually go out and do a build in a rural area, and that gets fiber right to the prem. At least that's the way we do it, is fiber to the prem in a lot of rural areas. And we've done now 10 we've been successful with. We just received one for Waldoboro, and that one's actually energized, up and running now.
Today, the first customer.
Yeah, and hooked up the first customer, and we just started that a few months ago. And so we're quite proud of the success we've had with the Connect Maine grants. We think that's a wonderful thing, and I know the people in rural Maine are sure happy it's around. They have some great service now. Once you get fiber to the prem, your internet capacity is only restricted by the electronics you hook to it, so it's a fantastic service. So like I said earlier, we're headquartered in Noblesboro now. We do have a couple other offices, the original one in Lincolnville, which is a line depot for us now. We have a CO tech there and a couple of line people that service customers up in that area, the Belfast, Lincolnville, Camden area. I mentioned that we are from Maine people. And Shirley's owned the company since 2008, and we understand the values of Maine, we feel, and which is a strong focus on service. Shirley's always driven our company to be a really great service provider, and we think that's how we can differentiate ourselves from other larger providers. You call us, you get a person to talk to. Our doors are always open. We have a great relationship with our customers, and we think we do real well in the area of customer service. With the fiber build-out that we're doing and the services that we're providing over it, we have a very strong network that you're going to see a picture of in a few minutes, with great connectivity to the internet, triple redundant now through Canada, and we're the only company in Maine that has done that. So for a small company, because we are just a company with just about 50 employees, we contract line folks, and we contract engineers, and we contract a few other things, but we're a relatively small company. So we feel like we punch above our weight a little bit that way, relative to the services and the technology that we can provide. We have an open door policy, and anyone, a group like yourselves or a representative from your group, anytime, would be more than welcome to come to our headquarters. We love to have people come to our headquarters, meet our people. We have a big war room, we call it, and we have an overhead, and we can show all of our network, and we can take people down through our CO, which is our central office, and show all the technology that we have there. And we have 27 such COs along the coast of Maine. So we're growing quite rapidly, actually, right now. So the company's been fortunate to be in a pretty good position. Shirley's always been a pretty strong leader in this industry, really well known in the telephone industry, but she's been a strong leader, and her business has done well. We've always been able to fund all our investments with our own cash. We're actually trying to do things a little more aggressively now, because we have quite a lot of interest along the mid-coast. So that may change a little, just because we're trying to do it a little faster than we have because of the demand, but really solid position financially. And one thing we also pride ourselves on is we meet with folks like yourselves in a town. We've done this several times already along the mid-coast. With Belfast is a good example, Camden, Rockland. We just did a lot of work with Waldoboro. And we meet with the people that lead the town and try to understand the need in the town. So we really try to partner more so than just come in and say we're going to do this or that based on a business case. We try to build a relationship, because we're here. We're not someone that's going to just come in here and take business and then leave. We're here for the long run. Our future lies with our customers, and our customers lie with our customer service. And so that's what we try to do. And by partnering with the business groups, like we've met in Belfast, a good example with the community leaders, the town leaders, the business groups, and we've sat in front of all of them, given them these sorts of presentations. We show them what we'll do, what we'd target in their community. If we were to build there on our own, we get their input. Quite often, we use their input, alter our plan, and then go in and build. So basically, you have an opportunity, if we come to your community, to have input where we go, which makes the most sense, because you know your community a lot better than we do, and we find that to be a very good way to start out. So the good news, what we think, you know, we're small, so we're able to be quite agile and creative, but we're also large enough to have the latest in technology, and we do all our technologies on the cutting edge, especially with fiber to the home. There's very few companies that are doing it in Maine, and we think it's the way to go. It's very expensive to deploy, and that's why the relationship for the longer term is very important to our company. But we think that's the wave of the future. So this is, I just put a couple slides in here talking about how we differentiate ourselves, and something we just implemented, and it's just been put in place this year. We started last fall. We had being an internet service provider, we had a connection to the internet. And we had redundancy. We had one to New York and one to Boston. I can't remember the capacity. It might have been 6 gig or something like that in the aggregate. And so we knew that we had a growth plan and a lot of interest in that service. But we also knew that it'd be nice to be able to differentiate ourselves and have something unique. And so we have a guy that works with us who's an internet specialist, and he kind of led a project. When we went out to bid for internet connectivity, we determined or learned we could get through a company through Hibernia in Halifax, Canada, a leg through Canada, which actually goes, and then it goes transcontinental through the ocean and down into New York and Boston, I believe. Under sea, and then it also has a lot of overland connectivity all over North America. We hooked up with them, and we got a third leg, and so ultimately, in that way, it's a third leg because we have a connection north and south with them. We also have another one to Boston. So we have a connection into Halifax, Nova Scotia, which is very diverse and unique, one to New York and one to Boston. And we also did something that had been kind of unprecedented in Maine. We did a peering connection, and a peering connection, it wasn't anything I was familiar with until I spoke with him about it. Randall probably knew. He's been in this part of the business longer than I, but it gives us a direct connection to an exchange in New York. And so we connect directly to Google, Amazon, Yahoo, and other large ones, which really represent a lion's share of our internet services. You know, if you looked at our usage profile, you'd notice that that's where our highest use is. Well, we connect directly to that exchange, and we no longer have to go through the internet for people that want to use Amazon or Google or Yahoo. And
Or
so that's
Netflix?
right.
Wow.
And so it's really, right now, if you get on, you'd go through the quickest path the internet has to provide for you. That's how it's routed. This is a direct link
That's pretty
through
good.
fiber. So it is. It's unique in Maine, and
We found that 25% of our traffic is Netflix. And so we got a direct connection to Netflix. He said Amazon, Google. We also connect to the University of Maine the same way. And a peering connection is a free connection that you do with large carriers, so you can communicate back and forth. And it gets rid of the latency from the internet and all the places it has to travel through.
Right.
So it works out really good.
so that was really, we're now on a capacity of 35 gig, which is very, very large.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Very, very large in Maine. But now we also have this experience our users will have different than other internet exchanges or other carriers that they work with, because they're going to be able to experience this with the large. I mean, this is where you spend a lot of time right there, as you can
This,
imagine.
the key thing, we built this fiber connection to the house, is what's, better than anything else out there. We want to make sure we give a good experience to the customer. The connection to the University of Maine, there's more non-traditional students now in the state than there are regular students at the University of Maine. And so we were talking to the leaders at the University of Maine, and they communicated that to us. We said, well, if we can get a peering connection with you, they get a good experience getting to their classes, whatever they have to do through the internet, because a lot of them are doing it now. And so all these type of connections just give a better experience on that already high-end fiber that's going there. And then this triple leg redundancy that we put into place is great, because what we found in the past was we've seen Time Warner and a few others. The connection's gone down on the southern side of Maine that goes out through Kittery, and people lose everything. And that's the main focal point of internet going out of the state. So what we did, we built that one in Halifax. We got one going out the southern route to Boston. We have another one going the western route into Boston, and we go the southern route into New York, and this one goes out into Canada and through Halifax to the world. So it's really a nice setup, and our large enterprise customers really like it, because you take the hospitals that we have, the banks that we have, and you lose one of those services, it could cripple them. So we got this nice Canadian outlet when that all goes down, because a lot of people are on the same poles going out through that southern side of the state.
So that said, he kind of touched on that last bullet, because of that connection, we're finding not only our enterprise customers are maybe buying more of it, but also some of the other carriers are actually looking to us now to provide them with backhaul. So that's new for us, new sort of business. Ready for the next one. That's just a list of the companies. I mean, Lincolnville Telephone is considered still the parent company, but LCI is the company we're here representing today. That's that competitive local exchange carrier. The Lincolnville Networks and Tidewater are our two regulated incumbents, and those are up in Lincolnville. And I'll show you a map of those in a minute real quick so you can get a feel geographically where they're situated. And then we have the ISP, which just has the name of Coastal Telco. So it's essentially a group of customers all under Lincolnville, really. So just to give you an idea of our fiber footprint, and we own most of our own fiber. We lease once in a while, but not often. We try to build our own because of the commitment to customer service. If we can own it and maintain it, we feel we have some control in terms of outages and things like that. So we're fortunate to be able to own a lot of our own, and it's expanding all along the mid-coast. The light blue is our backbone kind of network, which is the loops where you'd have like the 10 gig and the 1 gig size sorts of rings. And you'll see a lot of rings coming down the coast because that's the architecture that we lay out when we go into a community. We try to be redundant, and so that if one side goes down, we have the other side covered, and we think that's important.
So you're already to the north and the south of us here.
Yes, yeah, we and that's it, we go all the way down through our strand. Our own strand actually ends at the Freeport town line right now down through Brunswick, and then we have some main fiber down to Portland there. We have a lot more activity in Portland now because of our internet capacity, so we're starting to talk with some pretty good sized customers there. So we're working our way there with our own fiber, but in the meantime, it's advantageous to use what's on the poles already until we can do that. So that's our system. The magenta color there is a lot of our local loops and distribution. Some of that's been funded with Connect Maine in more rural areas. And then down at the bottom, you'll see a line that's kind of headed over towards Calais. That's the one that goes up through Moncton and into Nova Scotia, down into Halifax. Go ahead and jump to the next one if you want. The next slide, I think, just shows the
magenta stuff that is some of our most rural areas in our ILEC phone company, and that's areas like this. And we have fiber to the prem to all those customers that had the lowest bandwidth that we had available to them at one point in time. And that was part of the 11 Connect Maine builds. And we completed 100% of them. And so this one we're doing for Waldoboro, we're just finishing it up, and we're planning to have it, well, we already have it in front of 100% of the customers we said we're going to. And so we have a great relationship with Connect Maine, which helps us get more grants because we've completed everything we said we're going to do. And you'll find if you look into it, not everybody did that. And so they appreciate what we've done. We appreciate what they've done for us too.
So this is kind of, if you look at the tan that goes from Bangor to Portland, it's kind of the focused area of our CLEC right now. And if we said where we really focused, we've been spending most of our time between Belfast and Bath. We just put together a 3-year plan to lay out another 100 miles of fiber, and we'll actually be building in most every community down through there. This year, I think we're going to do quite a bit this fall and in the spring in Bath. We've got some projects we're working on in Brunswick. But that's our CLEC, and we have an office in Bangor, we have a CO in Bangor, and we have a lot of opportunity there. But right now, we're trying to focus on the mid-coast because that's really what we have the internal capability to focus on right now. It's a lot of work, but we've just worked. We answered an RFP in Ellsworth, and we're talking with about any community that's interested in working with us. We're very open-minded about that, and if we can make something work, we will certainly try. The Lincolnville, the green, is where our incumbent exchange carrier the original company started, and the yellow is the other regulated. And we also have a lot of fiber in those locations as well. But we own all the, we own pole plant, we own all the copper there, like a Fairpoint. So we're the legacy phone company, I guess is what you'd call it. But anyway, that's our focus. This year, I did a big project in downtown Belfast. I did all of downtown Belfast. We're working on 2 or 3 other builds in Belfast now. Randall did Waldoboro, and now he did all of downtown Waldoboro, and he also did that Connect Maine grant. Those were some of our bigger builds in 2016
Camden was too.
year to
Camden
date.
did a lot.
Yeah, and we did some in Camden as well. We've met with the town of Camden. We're going to get in front of their economic development group soon and talk with their business leaders. But we have a lot of fiber deployed in Camden and in Rockland that we just need to get the word out and let people know we're there. We've been doing a little more outreach, and that's, I joined the company actually last fall. I worked for the power company. I'm an engineer by trade, and I worked for the electric utility in Bangor for most of my career. So I retired last fall and joined the family business here. And a big part of my responsibilities are trying to just do the outreach and let people know, and business development, really. And so we started that, and we spent a lot of time in front of different folks like yourself in different communities. But we have a lot of fiber deployed where it's just simple. All we need to do is put a drop in and an ONT to serve the residents or the business. And we serve everyone. We don't come into a community and try to cherry pick a business or 2 or 5 or whatever and not look at all the residents that we pass by. We'll connect anyone. And we try to do that, and that's how our business strategy has kind of evolved over time. We're actually doing this fiber to the prem. Okay.
Can I speak to that?
Yeah.
One of the things I learned a long time ago, we were looking at a big customer in Booth Bay, Bigelow Labs, and there were a lot of people contending for that circuit. And the economic developer for the state was there, and she said, everybody wants to come in and pick off the big customers, but what else are you going to do when you get there? And we figured, listening to that, it made sense. And I think coming to these meetings and talking to people and hearing what they get to say, well, we need it over here. This is going to help us, our economic growth here. And we've done that. We've proven ourselves in Waldoboro, Belfast, and Camden. Wherever they need it, we work from the building. And listening to that statement and doing that, we won the Bigelow Labs. But we went into Booth Bay, we started offering fiber right to the residential customer too. And that's what Maine needs. The Maine needs not just coming and picking off what you need, but they need for education, economic development. They need that large bandwidth, the communication to the university and to these peering connections we have.
I need it for my Netflix.
That's right. And so I think that, that listening to that has helped us. And because I used to work for Verizon and 9X and all that, and we didn't listen. And as a technician, I used to go to the door and I'd hear about it, and I had nobody to talk to behind me to support me. But this company, Shirley Down, listens, and they can call her right up, and they have, and she's taking care of it. So, so that makes a big difference.
So this is just a quick overview of our products. So we talked about our internet connectivity at the top and the speeds. We can offer anything you really want over fiber. Our lowest is 10 megabits, bytes, or whatever it is. And we have the full TDM services, legacy phone. We have a Metaswitch technology, which is a higher end of VoIP capability. That means we can offer voice over the internet. And that's PBX hosting and lots of other things that technology is capable. That's just coming online this year as well. The TV product that we have is IPTV that we deliver out in the CLEC primarily, and that's a full digital head end that we have. We own our own, and that's another product that we find other carriers that are starting to develop interest in because they'd like to be able to provide a triple play to their residential folks. And having that IPTV over fiber is a really nice signal. It's not condensed because there's no bandwidth limitations. So it's a very crisp, clear TV product.
You get the true high definition that way.
Yeah.
And we, on our RF plant, we have to condense that signal like a lot of companies do to make it fit into the bandwidth of the RF. And fiber, you don't have to condense it at all. You get the full HD picture that way. And IPTV is, we can push it all over the state because it's so easy to move. And it rides on that same hair-like fiber that's coming inside of your house. And it doesn't infringe on the bandwidth that you have or the size you want for your internet at all. It's two separate virtual LANs that ride over that, so it's really a neat product.
So with that product, it allows us to offer the residential primarily, and we're selling commercial AAA bundles to places like restaurants and hotels. They're interested in the TV product as well. So the AAA is just phone, if you don't know, it's phone, voice, and TV. That's what a AAA is. So you get one provider, one bill for all three services, and that has some benefits as well. So the next few slides are just showing some, I think, pictures of some of the work we've done this year, and this is showing Belfast.
If I could, I'm sorry, if we go back, so it said anywhere from 10 megs to 10 gigs. Is there, how many steps in between do you have? How many tiers?
There's really no gig. Probably once you get to a gig, it's probably a gig at a time. But
Sure.
but we go from 10 to 20 to 30, 40, 50, 100. We can provide anything. The ONT at the side of your house is capable of a gig.
Sure.
So we can set it at any level you want.
Wow.
And eventually it'll be capable of 10 gig, and it's pretty incredible
Yeah,
stuff.
that's big stuff. But
But no, it's adjustable with just going into a soft communications and changing it.
But as far as billing plans and stuff like that, do you offer all the different tiers along
We
the way?
offer 10, 15, 20, 30, 50, and 100
Wow.
for residential customers.
Good.
We do have large business customers and business customers that have larger bandwidth than that.
yeah, we do have customers that have 500 meg connections.
Great.
I don't even know what a gigabyte looks like.
In comparison, I mean, I pay Comcast right now, and if I was to do a test, it's probably around 13 megabits per second is the best I'm going to get. And so, I mean, their lowest tier is already pretty comparable. And there's also a huge difference too. The way the data is transmitted. Okay, you've got what we get now. It's electricity over copper. What they're sending is light over glass, and it goes a lot faster.
The thing about light over glass and being in the telecommunications, one of my biggest issues as a technician, every time it rained, copper was affected.
Right.
The temperature change in copper, it was affected. It changes your bandwidth flow every time that temperature changes. It adds distance to your cable. Fiber is not affected by any of that. The corrosion, it doesn't corrode. It's really a neat product, and it's also synchronous. It's the same speed up and down. Most of your, or pretty much all of your copper delivery is mostly down and a little bit up.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to be doing 4 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing about fiber is that it doesn't degrade when everyone gets on at night. If we sell you a 10 or a 15 or a 20, that's what you get all the time. Regardless of how many people are in your house or on it, you're going to get that speed. So it doesn't degrade with the usage profile, and that's what's superior about that product and the delivery of the internet, over glass.
No, that's great.
So this is just to give you an example of what we do when we go into a community. We've had a number of enterprise customers in Belfast for a number of years, large ones there, and you can see the light blue north and south and west and east of where we came in and out of there. But over the last couple of years, you can see the magenta. At the very top in the middle of the page, you'll see looks like a little building. That's a central office we'd have there. So our backbone feeds it, and that would feed distribution out. And you can see the magenta lines all the way down into town, and you can't really see it, but all of downtown is the immediate downtown area is covered. The green is work that's in progress and part of our plan.
We have downtown. You want to see
Oh, do we have downtown? Yeah, that gives you a better idea. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Belfast, but basically, we met with the town there, and they said, really, if you could help us get the downtown has the greatest need initially. And so we've connected a number of business customers all through there in the last 4 or 5 months. We started in the spring, and then now we're starting to build out, and we've got a couple of different developments, condo associations that have asked us to come, and so we're working on those as well. And we build out a business case at a time. We're not we have a general strategy for an area, but again, if we know there's a solid interest there, we'll go out and we'll solicit the interest and actually give them applications to fill out. And we get enough applications to make our business case work, we'll do the build. That's how it works. So if you have an area that you want fiber in, and you can get a group of people that are interested enough to help us fund it, it doesn't really cost the community any money as long as we can make the business case work. So
Right.
We're not out there. We're not a provider that went into Belfast and said, what can you give us for money to build your town? We said, what is your need in your town? And if we can drum up enough interest, we certainly will build there, and we did. And so that's how we work, and that's kind of our philosophy. We try to, like I said, it's on a business case at a time. Unless you have some large enterprise customer, and that happens too. You'll come into an area because a large customer wants to help fund because they really want your service. That happens a lot,
Like
quite
the medical
frankly.
lab thing, for example.
Yeah, quite frankly, that happens a lot, and that's nice. That's a nice thing. And we're working on a couple of those right now too. Go ahead and flip, and this is, that's kind of a look at Waldoboro and the magenta downtown there is what Randall just did. That's all, basically covers all downtown. And is North Augusta Road on in this?
Yeah, that's the light pink right there.
Oh, okay, so we're looking,
Old Augusta Road, yeah.
north is down in this one.
Yeah, north is
Okay.
down on this one.
So that light pink would be the Connect Main grant that we worked, Waldoboro told us they had a lot of interest out there. And we went out and we went door to door, the town helped us. A lot of the people, we probably had as much support from the folks in Waldo, the leadership there, as any town we've been in. I mean, they actually went to their neighbors and knocked on the door and said, hey, let's put a group together. And they wrote some testimonials and wrote some letters in support. So when we went for the grant, we were able to get it. They were actually going to do their own. And they were going to try to get their own grant from Connect Main. And once they met with us and saw what we had done, and then they saw the work we were doing in downtown, they just said, why don't you guys just go ahead and apply and we'll just help you. Because we're very versed at applying for grants and building them. So that's what we did in Waldoboro.
Now, that's 7 miles of fiber we put up straight up through Old Augusta Road, and we put in $100,000 of our own money in that, and it was a $225,000 grant. So we matched, 100,000 of it, so we got 125 from Connect Main.
Was it that, just about 50/50?
It was just under 50/50, yeah, we matched.
So our town, we don't have a ton of business that would be probably a big help to this, but, certainly we have some, and I'm sure that the interest would be there. But most of ours would be residential.
Do you feel in your town that I don't know if you're familiar with the definitions of served or underserved, there's several different thresholds where you're considered served in a particular category. And the lower category that the number of your residents are in, I think that's the higher scoring grant. It's like a point system. There's a matrix that they put together, and they assign points to how underserved you are, what kind of support you get from the community, a lot of different things, variables that they look at when they award a grant. So, maybe Durham is a very appropriate place for a grant or 2 or 3, or I guess it just depends
Sure.
on what you have here. We're not overly familiar with what you have here.
Would you be able to email me some examples of stuff that you've used with, as far as these applications and,
Well, and we should be able to
Surveys.
determine from either an organization like Connect Maine or something of that ilk, because there is a move to expand internet capacity statewide, and whether or not, so the state as a whole, I anticipate, has sort of been broken up into underserved, identified what areas
Sure.
are what.
They have, what we found is they do have a map. They hired a consultant to build a map for the state of Maine, and it was labeled, by color, what they considered everyone's category to be. What we found is that the data that was used to build that, isn't necessarily always 100% accurate, so they really depend on the carrier or the town to bring the more accurate data. I mean, I think it's a great map, but I think it's generally, for instance, it showed the whole mid-coast in our area is served at 10 meg above, I'm sorry, and that's not the case at all. And so we pointed that out, and they said, well, when you come with a grant, just point out what is there. And so you'd say, this provider's there, this other provider's there, and that's what they serve.
Sure.
That's what they use. It's more empirical information than what they might have with that general map. But there is one general one, and you could look at Durham and see how it's color-coded now. It might say fully served at 10, of which you'd score low on that part of the scoring matrix for Connect.
I bet we are probably right around there, because I think most of the town does have cable, and most of them can get at least 10
And the bulk of it is
megs. so-
Comcast. There's a
Yeah.
small portion of town that is Time Warner.
And if you have 10 now available, you're probably considered fairly well served. I'm not sure.
That's just the downtown Waldoboro.
That's downtown, yeah, just a
Something like
tighter
this.
view of it.
Yeah.
This-
Absolutely.
This is just another example in Camden. We have a strong presence, as you can see there. All the purple's built, the blue's been there for a while. The green is areas we identified for our next few builds, and then actually there's a result of a town meeting there. The tan is where they've said, you know, you really should look there. That'd be a great place to build, and so we've added that to our plan, and we're gonna look at all of it. And what happens for us is, you know, like I said, we do these an investment at a time, and we have to look at each one of these opportunities, and we look at the cost per customer pass, and we try to have a good understanding of what the take rate might be, because we're a business too, and we have to prioritize in our investments and try to do the best that we can with our capital. And so that's how we deploy it. And so, again, that's a function of a plan that we, as built, you know, our history there, and also our new plan, and then meeting with the town. So that's a good example of, after meeting with a group of people, what you come away with. Now we have to go back and cost, you know, we have rough costs now in our planning document, and we refine those. And really the biggest variables that drive costs in a plan like this is make-ready work. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with what make-ready work is, though, but when you go on a pole line, you'll see a lot of wires up there, and we have a place to be. We're essentially right under cable TV, and if there's not a lot of carriers on there, make-ready costs are low, because no one has to move. But we don't have to replace poles to get the
I see.
the height over the roads and driveways. And but if there are a lot of carriers on there already, and we want to go in, we might have to pay every other carrier to move, and then we might have to change the pole out. And sometimes we've seen times where it's a $20,000 pole for us to change just to get on. And so that's when it gets really expensive. So anyway, that's what drives when you say cost per customer pass, that's really the biggest variable. We know the cost of strand steel to support the fiber. We know the cost of fiber. We know what it costs for our labor to put it on. Essentially, we have averages on a cost per mile basis. The biggest variable is that make ready. And so when you get in the Route 1s and the downtown areas, that's where you get congested, and that's where it can get a little more expensive. I think Rockland's next, but then, it's just another example. We don't have to spend any time on it. We've done a lot in Rockland this year. We spent a lot of time with the town. We were present at the Blues Festival. We were present at the Lobster Festival. We did some work with a TV company that wanted to broadcast live from there. We gave them a 300 meg connection, so they could broadcast live. We had our own 300 meg connection down there and provided some wireless. So we have a great relationship with the town. We're continuing to build there. We connected the Chambers in Rockland, and we're working on the one in Rockland, I'm sorry, but we did the one in Camden and in Belfast. So we're building those. We continue to build those relationships in each community. But we have a lot of interest in Rockland. Every week we have folks asking if we're there yet, and a lot of business and residential both.
Rockport, same way.
Rockport's a town, you may have heard, they were looking at doing their own fiber network, and they still are, I think, to some degree. But I think recently, I'm not so sure they were successful with some funding for the next steps, but so they're kind of regrouping a little bit, and we've met with them, and we also have a lot of fiber already in Rockport, and so we explained that to them, and we're going to work with them any way we can help them. We're willing to work with anyone, and if they'd like us to, we have a lot to talk about. They have some interest in doing some different things, and we'll certainly listen to it, and we'd advise them. From our perspective, we're in this business, and we have the billing, and we have the customer service, and we have the linemen, and we'd encourage people, just, if you want to work with us and we can make a case to build in your town, that's probably what we'd suggest. But some people want to have more control than that, and that's fine too. And just like Hillsborough and other communities, they would rather go it alone. But if they want to do that, we have bandwidth that we can deliver. We have IPTV we can deliver. They know our products, so they know we're willing to work with them. So we may be working with them jointly in the future. We're not sure, but they're certainly aware of us, and we're the local people. That's right in our wheelhouse right there, because we're right along Penobscot Bay for sure.
When I spoke to you in the spring, you were talking with, I don't want to call them out but a town, just a couple towns north of here. And I wondered if you'd done anything more with that. I mean, they were definitely to the west in 295.
Which one was it? We're looking at, we work with Alna,
We've talked with a number of different towns.
Whitefield, is it?
Well, it was you had talked about old.
Oh, yeah,
Well, they showed interest, but we haven't heard back from them yet.
Okay.
yeah. But
And that's what it really caught my, I was thinking,
Yeah.
wow, if you're coming right down through there anyway.
There's,
We just met with Risick and Georgetown, and on the other side, they came up and asked us about some type of service also. We showed them our place, and I think Long Island out of Portland was looking for something.
yeah, we met with them, and you know, they're an island out in, they're kind of an independent from Portland itself, I guess, so they're looking at possibly some sort of a development out there. We've done, you know, a lot of work with the city of Bath, and anywhere along here, you know, we're interested in working if we can make it work.
We got a lot of interest in Brunswick right now, business and stuff are asking us to come.
And we're also, we can go right to Wiscasset, and we're working on something there right now too.
Sure.
So another area we're thinking about is we don't
County.
have, we're not connected is Thomaston, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have a lot of interest there, and so we're looking at maybe doing a little build there as well.
Yeah, we did talk to Bowden, is it Bowden, Bowdenham, right?
They're right next to each other, yeah.
I remember them talking to them, but they never gave out the information, never got back to us.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll hook up with them at some point. And this
That would be nice, because that would be help coming this way.
This slide's just a few bullets. You know, we're, like I said in the beginning, we're from Maine. We're Maine people. We get it. We understand Maine's driven by small business. So we've priced our product very competitively, we feel. So competitive pricing and customer service, you know, we get that's what's important. I mean, that's what, you know, we're not a real large company ourselves, so we understand how important that is. So that's kind of what those really bullets there are directed at. And this is just the last slide. We're continuously growing along the mid-coast, and we're wide open-minded about growing. Like I said, our strategy is fiber to the prem, and we don't leave anyone behind when we do come through an area. So if there's any way we can help your community and make it work economically for us, we certainly would be interested in talking with you. But I think this was today, you know, essentially we wanted to kind of introduce our company, tell you what our strategy was, what we're all about, kind of where we've been building and where we're heading. And we're certainly available to you anytime if you'd like to continue discussion. You know, when you decide what you may want to do here, if you're going to try to do something as a community, or you think you might want to take on something with Connect Maine, if you'd like some assistance there, we'd be more than willing to help you and partner with you.
That would be great, right
Yeah.
there. Is
Yeah.
I will keep in touch with them through email.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Any questions, just give us a call. We got some pretty good experts on our,
Yeah,
Or they can help you.
we've got a great team, and Randall and I, the people just go out and kind of, you know, introduce our company, but we'd love to have you come by and meet some of those people as well. They're very good at what they do. We're there, so give us a call if you have more interest, and we really appreciate the
Well,
opportunity.
I can tell you for one, I'm interested.
You know,
I would
visit
love to see
you.
this happen for our town, you know.
Yeah. You know, a lot of towns are, and it's about geography and,
Right.
and costs, you know, and
Right.
and so there's a lot of ways you can be creative, you know, and that's what we like about our company. We kind of differentiate ourselves in that regard because we're willing to be creative and do whatever it takes to try to help the community. We're not locked in process. We're not locked in bureaucracy. You know, you're talking to the decision makers right here. We report to one person, just a small group of us, and we look at them, like I said, a business case at a time. And we can react very quickly if things align. So.
Well, and particularly where it sounds like you're pretty close. I mean, you're in Brunswick, you're in Freeport. So,
Yeah.
Neighbors, yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised that, you know, if not right off, but over time heading west, you know, wouldn't surprise me at all. We have other opportunity even further west, so
we're always looking at a way to improve our network too, and as you saw, we come down using an AT&T fiber down through the middle part of the state. You saw that above you. We have strand going down into Freeport. As we do that, we'd like to complete rings. So if we built something up from, say, Brunswick up this way and completed a ring over to the AT&T side, that helps another multiple ring. And when we talk about rings, it creates that circle. So we put a piece of equipment inside it, in the middle of it. One side goes down, the other stays up.
Right.
We're a telecommunication company at heart since 1904, and we built our network like that instead of like an ISP who has been riding on other people's networks and stuff over the years and point-to-point connections. We try to avoid those, and we have battery backup central offices and generator backup central offices. So everything's been built to PUC standards because that's what we've done forever. And so the quality is there. That's what keeps our reputation intact on the Mid-Coast, and that's why we have most of the large business customers on the Mid-Coast. And we've had them for a long time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Nice meeting you all.
Great evening.
You too. Any questions, call us. No cost, we'll talk to you.
I'll be in
We
touch.
got engineers and all that.
I'll be in touch.
There you go, Mark. Any questions, you just call
You're
me.
just gonna run fiber
How
to your
tall is a
house?
gigabyte anyways? About that tall?
My computer?
Yes.
I can get it?
It's 1,000 times taller than a megabyte.
Do they have,
Or actually 1,024.
do they have beards?
Thank you, my man. Thank you, my man.
No problem.
How to get back to Freeport there. That's how we came in.
Your easiest way would probably be come out, take a right here, go to the end of the road and take another right. That's 136 all the way back to Freeport.
Oh, that's okay.
Yep.
I think that's how I was planning to come in, but we somehow came in this way. We missed a turn, I think. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
See you later.
Safe home?
Go back to public comment. Any public comment? No? Consent agenda.
I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Action and discussion items on to B, absence of the ACO.
So our ACO has gone away for the month of September, and I've been trying to get somebody to replace him for the month of September. And so far, what it looks like is I can get the gentleman who works for Pownell to work for us. And so I'd like your approval on that, and what I would do is I would pay him the stipend that September has.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you for finding someone.
Yeah, thank you.
Brunswick told us no, huh? Brunswick said no?
Mark, did you second
It's
mine?
complicated.
Okay, see, the penalty discussion regarding the Maine Department of Labor and
Yeah, Calvin's not here, but I spoke with Michael LaPlante, and basically he's said that he received everything that he needed. There were a couple other things that he asked us to give him a roster of the training for the tag-out,
lockout.
Lockout,
tag-out, and the training, what the training consists of. And after he gets that, which I think Calvin has actually already sent to him, what they'll do is he thinks that he can get us a 90% discount on our fee, our fine, without going through the whatever you want to call it.
The process.
The appeals
Process, the
yeah.
appeals process, right. And so I guess I'm looking for approval if he can do that. So as opposed to the $550, it would be $55.
Oh, I have no problem approving that. I'm good with that.
Is that a motion?
That was
That's
a
a
so
motion.
moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries.
It's easy.
Okay. Voting credentials for MMA annual meeting.
I don't know much about this one.
Are you going to the MMA?
I am going to the MMA conference.
So what do we have to have?
Well, so we are allowed a vote at the MMA annual meeting, and we just have to designate a,
I'm already there. It's a convention, so
But will they let you?
I've sat in the last 2 years.
Okay.
I nominate Josh to be our,
And we can also do an alternate, and I would,
Alternate Ruth.
I'd put Ruth as the alternate, where she's gonna be there too.
Okay.
Second.
Well, if she's gonna be there anyway, if you wanna make her the voting.
You guys have flip quarters when you go in there.
You can go.
All right.
Okay. So,
If you
That's
can't
all
make
two of you
motion.
work it out, one be the
and
nominee, one be the alternate.
I would also ask that we allow the administrator to sign for the selectmen. Because there's a sign by municipal official.
Second.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have all that in there. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. All right. Next up, deputy registrar oaths. We have two suggestions for appointments as deputy registrar. One is for Ann Neiman, and the other is for Duncan Chesley.
Do we need to take them separately?
I don't know that we did.
I would move that we appoint Ann Neiman and Duncan Chesley as deputy registrar for the town of Wareham.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion carries. Chief?
Yeah, I don't know if I have a lot there that needs expansion, but the first one is, yeah, it doesn't look that critical, but the first one, when it talks about the Fire Act grant, those items that are in there at, like our SCBA cylinders have a 15-year lifespan. So getting close to crunch time. We have about 3 or 4 more years left in their lifespan before we have to take them off the shelf. So, not the shelf, but out of the packs and replace them. So anyways, I'll go to the training. I think it's actually this Thursday in Augusta. I usually go to Scarborough, but that was last week. So I'll go up to Augusta to the training, and then I will try to reformat it and submit again this year. Hopefully we'll score just that little bit more. I'm not sure if we can score enough so it'll put us past that threshold unless they increase the funding. But it's definitely the priority, so I have to give it a shot. Trim work and the painting, you have the invoices for those projects are complete at the station. Actually, I got to compliment them, they both did a nice job, and they actually threw in some extras, because when we actually priced it out, we forgot about the sign, the red sign, and they actually threw in the red sign and the trim work on the back side of the station, some of it, so. They did a good job. I guess it has to stand the test of time, though.
Sure it will.
Yeah. The lights have been changed. Instead of changing the lights, he actually did LED bulbs, so we lost some of our wattage by doing that instead of changing the fixtures and stuff, but I think it's still plenty bright enough. It's not to turn it into a daytime area. It's actually just to illuminate it for safety purposes and security purposes. So went from 400 to 250, but checking them out at night, I think it's still satisfactory.
And the neighbors are probably grateful.
Pardon me?
The neighbors are probably happy that it's not quite as bright.
Yeah, they're not. If we'd have changed the fixtures, the other side of just changing the bulbs is the lenses aren't the ones for the LED lights to begin with, so, but it was substantially cheaper going that way. It was about a third of the price by doing that instead of the fixtures. So anyways, that stuff on the lighting for the most part is taken care of. Engine 22, I don't know if you have the picture of Engine 22, but those guys texted me a picture of it, and I thought they were actually messing with me, and it was an old picture or something, because they actually, otherwise in the scratch marks and the rub rail, they did a very good job getting rid of the bend in that, so.
Looks good.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Yeah, so I don't think we need to worry about what happens with Engine 2 in regard to that piece of it, because they couldn't handle the way it looked, so they had to fix it.
Good.
Yes, that is good. The per diem piece, I've been kind of keeping you abreast of where we're at with the per diem and the staffing thing. The per diem piece is actually, Diane is still doing the part-time 2 days a week, but filling in the other days, it's actually not working too bad. with the existing members of the department that are full-time elsewhere, but putting it out, they'll do a text message it's almost time to put one out for October here in another week or two and start trying to fill in October, but September's probably as full as it's going to get. I seem to have a difficult time with Tuesdays, but right now we're at 17 or 21 of the days full, so if we can hit that, to me that works. And it works about with what we have in the budget to keep it going and stuff like that. So we keep trying to hit that threshold. I would like to start to try to establish a list of people just in case ours goes dry or they get other commitments and can't. I've already had one that's going on to taking a bunch of college classes, so he pulled his name off. He's still on the list, but the odds of him taking any of the time is slim to none. So I would like to establish a list that I can go to, kind of a secondary list that, hey, these people are outside of members of the department, but they're interested in staffing if there's an opportunity. So and then the coverage for weeknights and weekends, as I put together my reports and stuff, I've been trying to watch it pretty closely, and we're doing all right on the weeknights. We are really struggling bad on the weekends. We end up getting the staffing, but the commitment to say, hey, I'm going to dedicate this full day to the weekend and stuff, that's where we're struggling, is that commitment level. If they're available, so I think probably over the course of the last month, we've maybe dropped a couple of calls, but a lot of them have been the way the calls have come in as well. It seems like this last month that we don't just go on one, we go on 2, 3, 4. And, a little over a week ago, the Saturday, the 27th, I think it was, we had 4 of them within the span of an hour and a quarter. We don't have enough depth to staff that many, especially. So
When you're asking for a weekend, are you asking for like a full day commitment or split?
Well, it's split. It's actually evenings and days. Just because we thought we'd have better luck than saying, no, you need to staff it for 24 hours. So it's not, evenings is 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. and we left that the same way. So weekends it's still a 7 p. to 4 a.m. So days is 4 a.m. to 7 p.m. Seem to do okay on Friday nights, but the Saturday and Sunday nights, which Sunday nights is usually, hey, sit around the house and get ready for work the next day. I don't understand the Sunday nights, but Monday through Friday we seem to do okay on, but Saturday and Sunday nights
Well, just like the song said, they're all working for the weekend, so.
True. The last thing they want to do is tie up the whole thing. It might be a beautiful weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I put together my report, I kind of wanted to keep you abreast on how it was going, because it's all going to play a big factor into how I recommend we should do things and stuff. And I've been discussing it with the membership at the meetings and the offices. We have offices meeting this coming Sunday night. And probably going to be one of the primary focuses of a conversation about how things are going, how can we do it better, how can we do it differently. I will say, with the new systems, morale seems to be substantially better in the department and stuff. It was actually impacting morale drastically. They feel they should always be there for everything, and they were at a point where they reached their breaking point and they couldn't. Let's see, the call this afternoon was 267 for the year, which this year seems to be, we're substantially above where I would have even estimated.
How many days through the year are we?
Pardon me?
How many days through the year are we right now?
250.
So we're over one a day, yeah.
Yeah. And it wouldn't be bad if it came in that way, but it doesn't come in that way. They make the commitment, and if you take a night shift, you could, starting at 7 p.m., you could not end up with no sleep. Actually, this weekend for the Poland call, there were 4 of them that didn't sleep at all. Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night. There were 4 of them that didn't sleep at all Sunday night. So, yeah. So the volume compound, the decrease in volunteers compounded by the volume, especially this year, it's really hammering on it. So Anyway, so I wanted to keep you abreast where stuff was and how it's going. We're not, hasn't changed drastically. I actually think it might have improved just a little bit with the, if I can make a few more changes, I think we might be able to improve it there, and then, yeah, hopefully I'll come to you within a month or so and have something we can put out to the public. One, telling them, but two, hopefully talking about trying to do one more recruitment to see if maybe we can come up with a few that way, especially if they know it's crunch time. That was it.
Thanks, Chief.
Any questions? Thank you. Do you have anything for us?
I put everything in there.
Okay. Can you see if
Calvin, yep, 1 sec.
I think Jill just ran to get him.
He's coming.
I'm up.
You're up.
I never, Don, in the last meeting, I never gave you the report. I had them all in here. Never handed them out. I guess I thought I got back the next day and they were all still in there.
I will tell you that I've been hearing very positive things from people that live on Rhode Island. People are very, very happy.
Guys on that road, I haven't heard too many positive things.
We'll go back one. Send them back once. Yeah.
Sorry. That's all I got.
No? I just want another
I
bottle.
already gave you one, okay. I'd like to do is go right to the bottom one if I could. And I'll pass this up, just so you can get that. And this one, I don't. Good,
Except, if you have an extra one for Ruth. Yeah.
I can share.
that's all I got.
I'll get you one.
I can give you
I can
this.
share.
I'll give you this one as
We're
soon as
good.
I'm done. So, because I don't need this, just if you look at how I know we discussed the last meeting about the roof RFP, and I got to thinking about it, and I think that we already did the RFP, and that they all bid, and if you look at the price per square, they've all come in with a number per square. So I think if we just say, look, we're gonna take 10 square off, if you take, obviously things get cheaper in quantity, so if they're willing to do the job at 10 squares less for the same as they've said here per square, otherwise if I send this back out to everyone, everybody knows the other one's numbers. So it's really an unfair advantage to them at this point. Whereas they've already bid, that's their dollar per square. I think if we just say, look, you can take 10 square off of this building, we'll
What's the
just,
price?
we'll take $327.30 off times 10. Or if the low bidder is willing to take off that same amount per square and still do less quantity for the same volume price, then I think that's the fair way to go.
Yeah, and I can't imagine they wouldn't. I mean, 10 square's not that big a deal,
He already told me
other than,
he'd do it, so.
and I don't remember now when we looked at those things. Was this, is this architecturals?
Yep.
Yeah.
Lifetime architectural.
Well, that's debatable.
Yeah. Well, I won't be around to argue with it.
Depends on who's
Yeah.
likely to be measuring it by.
Yeah, the roofers usually warranty their workmanship for lifetime, but the shingles don't go really through the roofers. I fully get that. Been there, done that.
Yeah, because it must be around 10 square on that roof addition, because he told me he'd do it for 29. He even dropped some more off. He said if I do it this fall. Yeah, we did it in October.
That was the bottom one?
Yeah.
And we currently have roughly 24.
So I'd have to come up with 5 somewhere. So I think I can. He says, even if you don't have the money this year, don't worry about it. He says, I'll just send it to me next year. If you want to put it in next year's budget, but I'll find it somewhere.
So the 10 square is which part of the building? Is that the office area?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Did that include the front porch? Or is it just the office?
Just the office. So this would include the front porch. The front porch is the worst for the roof.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the front porch seemed, if I remember, when I looked at it, was worse.
This is, yeah, that would just take off for the the new office part
office
that was
is-
just done. and,
Yeah, 2 or 3 years
yeah.
old or whatever, yeah. It won't be architectural, but it's not that big a deal. I guess,
Yeah, I mean,
I guess for me, I'd ask that question, you know, especially if he's willing to take a little bit more, if he's gonna do it this fall, see what that bottom dollar is,
Well, he's
at
been-
90 square, and
Yeah, he gave it to me at 29, so, but right off the top, I don't remember. I think it was 10 square. I goes, it was like
where's my calculator?
3,200 and like
3273. If it's 10 squares, 3273.
3273, right? And 32 minus 3273 is
29.5 roughly.
25. He said he'd do it for 29, so.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was just trying to come up with.
So if I could let him know, he could order the stuff and,
And when he leaves there, it'll look like he wasn't even there other than being the roof.
right, right.
Yeah, hopefully that part will be.
That's the plan.
Well, I know some guys, they don't tend to go around with magnets and stuff, and
Yeah,
leave some incidental debris and
Yeah, I put that right in the
scrapes and
spec.
stuff on the sides of the buildings.
I put that right in the spec, so. So if we're okay with that, let's,
makes sense to me.
So
Yeah.
we'd actually need a motion because we haven't accepted any of the bids yet, so we'd need a motion to accept.
Do we call?
Do we want to get that in writing before we accept it, to make sure? I mean, I know that's what he told you, but just to make sure that
I could have
between
him,
then and now, nothing's changed.
I could have him give me a contract.
Yeah. You know, I guess,
Bring the contract in and have you guys approve the contract.
right,
Get it right.
right. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Okay?
Sounds good.
We'll vote on it then, yeah?
The rubber pads and excavator, those are just phenomenal. That was a great investment that we'll be able to use for, they don't show any wear really, and we wouldn't be able to do this without it. So this was a very hot, it's the hottest August we've had, so even Route 9 where they've been doing culvert replacements, DOT, you get down through and it sounds like an airplane. Now you feel that, you hear that rumbling. So certainly on that new pavement, we would have been having some problems. So ongoing ditching, pretty much that chews up our day. So Rabbit Road, we pretty much finished today. We had a little piece left. We just got a little piece right by the road to do, and then back by the pond, that house there, just past the pond, headed back towards, there's a shelf. I don't know how that got there, but when they graded, they pushed it out. So there's a false road bed or a second. I want to pull that back so that the water bleeds out from under the road without having to go through all that extra. There's about a 4-foot plateau there that, I don't know, they got that corner too wide when they pushed it out or what happened. But so I want to, I'll probably dig that out on my way up to Runaround Pond, where, that's where we're headed next, so pretty much we'll tie up that road.
It's got a little bit left, little section left to grind.
Yeah, on Runaround, yeah.
That liquid injection, is that what I saw this past weekend, if you drive up through there, where it looks like a paved section, or is that the paved section on the next?
No, the paved section we paved. We paved a piece, we just paved up to four-wheel drive, the gravel road on the right. So we started at 5,400 and went to there, and that was all they could finish in a day, so they didn't get started till noon Friday, so.
So it won't affect it at all, to not be starting from one end all the way through to the next?
Nope, do it all the time. We come to a point where it gets dark and we pull it right there and start up the next morning. So, you know, it becomes a problem is when you stop and start at two different places on the opposite side of the road and you have a drop off when, right, that's not good, but trying to avoid that. So we did the injection. That worked great. Got it paved. Now it's hard as a rock. You hit that with a hammer, it'll bounce back at you. But I don't know why we couldn't do that why we couldn't leave it that way. But I guess it doesn't work. It won't stay. So.
If it did, I wouldn't have poured concrete in my foundation.
So Right now, we're grinding the remainder of Runaround Pond. That should be done grinding probably tomorrow. And they'll probably be back paving tomorrow. This morning it was wet and there was too many chances of rain, and last time they filled up their trucks, I made them all go home. That's expensive, so they opted to wait, so. The MDOL, Maine Department of Labor mitigation letter went out. Response back. I emailed Mike back this afternoon. Haven't heard back from him, so gave him what he was looking for. They're posting a Rabbit Road, still looking into this. I've got my book out, and I've got all the statutes, and I see the correspondence of our existing ordinance that our attorney did in 2012 or 11 with Janet. I see that going back and forth. He's citing a different statute than what my book is citing, so I've got to work through that and see. It looks like we've already been through all this just back in 2012, so I don't know if we could. I just got to look into it a little bit more.
We do, I know we put an ordinance in place on
And we
that.
have it, and I read it, and my question is, can we just add, it lists the two roads, Layton and whatever the other one is, Shiloh and Layton, I think. And I don't know if we can just simply amend that by adding another one. Some of his language was unclear to me, what he was suggesting, and it appears to me that the selectmen have the authority to do it whenever there's a threat of damage to the road, so. But no hurry, I'll get that hopefully worked out by next meeting. New plow truck's about done. Josh and Scott are going up tomorrow to help with the layout of equipment. I need Josh to go up. He's on vacation, but he's going to take some time off tomorrow morning to go up, and then I'm going to give him some time on another day, which he wanted to do, so. Because he's got to see about, when people get in the body in the back, they can't get back out, there's no ladder. So this is going to be, Josh wanted to go make sure he can get out of the truck. If he gets in there and can't get back out, Ron gets in there and can't get out. We want to make sure he can get in and out of there, so, and he wants to make sure he can get in and out, so.
Just make them raise money like the guy on the roof's doing.
So they're building a ladder that fits. We don't have ladders on the other one, so we're putting a ladder in there and building it. So Josh is on vacation. He was out last Thursday. We'll be out this week. So Ken is filling in today, and Thursday he's got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I couldn't do it tomorrow, but.
What'd you fill the hole in?
On Shiloh Road, we used cold mix. We didn't use patch. We used cold mix.
Large hole with no pavement.
Well, did you see that great big hole that was right by the dump? Right by the. Yeah. It was embarrassing. It was like, that's awful.
Well, the welcome to Durham hole?
Yeah. Right at the sign that says Durham. I was like, so
We just want to make sure people were turning at Graham Road and bringing their trash up there.
Tell them to slow
when you
down
hit a big
on our
hole,
roads.
That's right.
when you give directions to the dump, you say, when you hit a big hole, you know you went too far. So it's not a good landmark we want to be known by. So we did some washouts along the shoulder of Shiloh and Deervale up in those hills. Some washouts up on Haskins Road. And the next one, I see that Lisbon is building a stone planter. And when you come across the bridge and look at our side, we got a big
Rock wall.
that's got graffiti on it. Or what I'd like to do is,
Get people to do flower graffiti.
well, no, I'd like to look at putting a sign there with a planter. I mean, it's not, they have a nice brick when they sell it. Academy Landscape Supply. It's a curved arch type with a nice pillar top. They're like $1,200, and you can fit the sign in between those. And I would just have to. It'd be nice to have a sign that said "Welcome to Durham." And
I had someone actually had spoken to me about whether the possibility of putting one up at the top of the ledge or something like that. I don't know where you were thinking, like down at the bottom.
right at the bottom in front, and there was a big drainage piece there, and so I would have to work with DOT to I'm sure they'd let me do it. They would just say, okay, but don't block that hole, so we may have to pour some concrete either side instead of footing, and I'm sure I can make it work.
Find out, find out what
Know what it is.
What it is, yeah.
We can't get nobody that
Or
paints to paint a
or
mural
could we
on
put
there
a big
instead.
hole on the other side, on that side of the bridge, welcome to Durham?
Welcome to
Welcome to Durham. Just move it.
Well, we don't want that to be our trademark.
Well, at the end of the bridge, there's a bump, and then there's that thing.
Well, until they pave the bridge, yeah. I gotta put another layer on that. Hopefully, they're gonna get that done before fall, or hopefully before the wing hits it, the plow hits it. I've done that before, hit one of those and stood the back of the tractor. That's not good. The Around Pond Road, I added, there was some concerns about that hill, like Barry Baldwin's. I added 20 inches of material on the bottom and nothing at the top, so it goes, it's sitting on bedrock at the top, so that is a lot better than it was. I really couldn't get much more than that without creating problems. We picked it up 20 inches. We picked it up 8 the first time, and then I did some math, see how much money we had. So, okay, looks like we're okay. So add 20, add another foot, so 12 and 8, 20. And so we put another 200 yards of material in there. That's about all I got.
Any question? Just, we've been keeping track of how many hours we've been spending over on these two roads? I mean, it's pretty easy, we've been there the whole summer, I mean,
Well, yeah.
more or less, I mean,
Yep.
because I'll be coming to you sometime to ask you
Yep.
the tally of what the town spent there, so we can add it to the 1.1, so we can figure out exactly what the road cost us.
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure we're keeping track of all that.
I mean, we do a lot of other stuff too.
But,
We still have to go out and fix other stuff.
Right, you should probably pretty much judge when you were over there,
Yep.
because I will be asking for that sometime. I know it hasn't been asked to me yet, but it will be asked to me exactly what we spend on that road.
Sure? I'm pretty sure it will be too. It may not be asked just of you, it may be asked of me and some others.
So I'd like
That's
to be
all.
able to add our time plus the 1.1 and divide it by the foot, and I can tell everybody exactly how much it costs per foot to have that
Well,
road.
that gives us a good idea of what we'd be looking at next year, too.
Well, yeah, we got a bunch of roads we gotta do through the town, so it'll tell us where we'd be sitting.
Well, and the other way to look at that though is this road would have had to been ditched anyway, so.
Right, I mean, that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
way, so people say, well, how much did it cost you per foot? We can say this much, and they say, well, how much would it have been if Shaw Brothers come in? And I said, oh, I don't know, we didn't get a figure for that. So the next road we do, we can say, Shaw Brothers come give us a foot measurement, how much to do everything, all the ditch and everything, and we'll have something to judge it to, what we can spend.
Okay, so,
Does that make sense?
yep.
So we got a bunch of roads to rebuild.
Yep.
Any other?
We probably ain't gonna get them all done this century. Or this decade.
Well, I was gonna say, I hope
This
we get
decade
to
is what I
each
meant to
one
say.
this century, or we're gonna have some pretty bad roads.
Yeah, some pretty angry people if you don't. I don't think we have a choice. We're at the point now where we have to fix them.
Any other questions? Okay. All right, selectmen's comments, upcoming meetings. Regular selectmen's meetings will be held here at the town office Tuesday, September 20th at 6:30 PM and Tuesday, October 4th at 6:30 PM. There will be, the comprehensive plan committee is meeting next Monday, correct?
Right, the 12th.
The Monday, the 12th, at
6:30.
6:30, okay. Anything else that we,
I move to adjourn.
Wait a minute, we gotta do this here?
Well,
that was part of our consent agenda, we approved.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was down.
Second.
further. Sorry.
Okay, so there's a motion to adjourn, and seconded, all in favor?
We still gotta sign it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Still got some signing to
Little
do.
over.
Sorry, Zach, I passed you over.
We'll pin it all then.